Most 8-year-old boys are either out playing football or at home playing computer games. But young Max MAYER likes to do something a little more high octane. So Max, this doesn't look anything like a road car. Can you show me around the kart?
Yeah.
Tell me something about the tyres and the wheels you use.
The tyres are hide-and-nails and they're slicks, and that's what they called hide-and-nails. The engine is Puma and it's a 65. And the steering wheel...
It's a very interesting gadget in the centre. What's that all about?
That's the lap time.
Okay. Now, I can't even tell which is the brake and which is the accelerator, so can you show me?
Brake's this one, and the accelerator's this one.
So do the tyres have to be the same on all the karts?
Yes, all of them.
And is there anything else on the kart that has to be the same as everyone else's?
All of it. The engine and the exhaust and all of it. All of it needs to be the same.
So what sort of checks do you have to do on the kart before you start a race?
The steering wheel, the brakes, the tyres, the engine and the air for the tyres, and that's it.
And do you need any special equipment to wear or to take into the car with you?
You need a crash helmet, neck protector, and your body protectors, and your suit, and your boots to be soft with the accelerator.
Okay, so you can feel the pedals.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know that a crash helmet's very important to a driver, so can you tell me something about yours?
It's very important to put your crash helmet on and keep it tight. If you don't have it on tight, and if you have a big crash, and if you have your crash helmet loose, it will come off.
You don't want that. So
No.
what about the colour scheme? Did you choose that yourself?
Yeah, of the English flag and the Spanish flag.
Okay. And why is that?
Because I like it how Hamilton's crash helmet is.
Is he your favourite driver?
Yeah.
So what's this bit here?
That's for protecting your visor, so it doesn't get scratched. So sometimes in Formula 1 they have this and they take it off and they're in the pits.
Right. How many karts take part in a race?
14, sometimes 15 and 32, I think.
32?
Yeah.
Okay, and how old are the drivers that you're racing against?
8 or 9 or 10 years old.
Okay, and how old are you?
8.
And does the racing get very competitive?
Yes.
Okay. What's the most difficult part of a race?
It's the start.
Can you tell me about the start of a kart race?
The start, you have to go in line together in the same speed when it's lights, and when the lights are out, that means you have to go.
And what might happen at the start of a kart race?
The start of the kart race, they might spin off or crash.
Has that ever happened to you, spinning off at the start?
No.
So tell me about some of the tracks that you visit.
Records, Albaida, Vienna and La Manga.
Which is your favourite?
Records.
Why is that?
Because it's faster, it's not difficult, and it's a very good track.
You told me that you like the track at Buriana. Why is that?
Because it's got a street. The street is closed. It's got lots of buildings, and and it's very fast.
Is it very different racing on a street circuit than being on a track?
Yes.
Can you tell me what the differences are?
The difference is that it's got less grip, it's got no pianos, it's just a normal road.
Can you tell me what a piano is on a racing track?
It's on a track, it's red and white stripes.
And what are they for?
To go on them, to be better getting the exit.
So have you had any podium finishes?
Yes, in 3rd place.
Okay, and where was that?
Vienna, La Manga, Albaida, and Jumia. Chester, I mean.
It sounds to me like you're doing really well. So would you like to be a Formula 1 driver one day?
Yes.
Drivers like Jenson Button and Andy Priaulx owe their careers really to the support of their dads. What made you introduce Max to karting?
It's quite easy for me. I love the sport anyway, so I had my own go-kart, came down here, got into the sport, and of course a young boy suddenly wants to get involved and come out racing with his dad. So yeah, that's really, I didn't have to push him into it, he was begging me to get into the kart.
Is it an expensive business, competitive karting?
Yeah, it can be, depending on the level that you do. If you just come in to have a bit of fun on the track, no, it's not too bad at all. You buy the kart, you put the fuel in it, and you go and have some fun. But at the high levels, which we're not there yet, but at the higher levels, yeah, it can be very expensive.
Do you need to know a lot about the mechanics of the kart?
Most of the teams at this level are lads with their dads, as they say. So yeah, it's helpful that I know how to change the wheels and the sprockets and basic things. So yeah, you need to know a little bit.
And Senna's dad apparently built his first go-kart for him out of old lawnmower parts. Presumably It's a bit more sophisticated than that now.
Yeah, I think it's gone a bit better than that now. Yeah, we're quite high tech really.
I understand that the FIA govern the specifications for the cars. Is that true?
Yeah, karting is still a very big part of motorsport in Europe in general, and obviously the governing body keeps a very tight grip on what the kids are using and the higher classes as well. So, for example, in races they have to use the same tyres, so that they have to use the same engines. They're limited to the gearing that they're allowed to use there. They're even limited to the weight that they're allowed to carry on the kart. So in Max's class, the minimum weight is 108 kilos. And after every session, they get weighed. So it's very similar to what you see on the television with the Formula 1 situation.
And what about tyres? I know that Max mentioned slick tyres to me. Do you have tyre changes?
What tends to happen is that you have a set of tyres for a race meeting. And you'll practice perhaps on the Saturday, and on the Sunday for qualifying you'll have a brand new set of tyres which you'll then have to use through the races as well.
So they have qualifying just like a professional race?
Absolutely. Typically you'd have maybe 4 or 5 free practice sessions on a Saturday, a warm-up session on Sunday morning early, followed by qualifying, and normally 2 races.
That seems like a lot for an 8-year-old to cope with.
Yeah, it's initially you think you can't imagine how they can do it, but yeah, they just love it so much. The boys are so excited to get into the karts. It's always funny that when we put Max in the car to take him home, he's normally asleep within 5 minutes. So yeah, it takes it out of him.
So is this very much a family occasion for you?
Yes, it is now. It seems that most weekends we're training. So obviously it's good that the whole family enjoys the sport. I have a kart, my wife likes to do it occasionally as well, and our little youngest lad of 3 is also just sort of taking those first steps of sitting in the go-kart and enjoying it. So yeah, it's a big family effort.
So what advice could you give to families who are interested in taking part?
I would say the first thing is come down to a track like this. This is the Orihuela Costa go-kart track. They've got lots of hire karts available from 5-year-olds upwards, so it gives you a chance to see if you like it, and it doesn't need to be expensive. If you enjoy it, and in Max's case wanted to race, then the next step is to buy a kart and start one of the easier competitions and see how you get on.
How do you train for a go-kart race?
A lot of it is to do with just what we call seat time. It's just as much time in the kart as you can get, because for a 7, 8, 9-year-old to get used to going flat out and dealing with all the pressures that come with that, they need to spend lots of time in the kart. So we will train probably 3 times a week. Now the summer's here, it means we can come after school and do a couple of hours, and that will be just Max driving around the track and trying to beat his own lap times. But for a race, then he might train with other boys. Max has a professional trainer that goes out with him in another go-kart, and they practice overtaking and braking points and all sorts. So there's a lot to take in.
So do you find there's a lot of preparation to do at home with Max?
Yeah, Max has his preparation, and that if we're going to race at a track that we're not used to, or even we want to just look at a track that we did last year, then we quite often take videos using a GoPro camera so we can see where he was quick and where he was slow and needs to improve. We have a map of the tracks that we're going to, so just before we get to the track, he's already in the zone, sort of thing. And in my preparation is always cleaning the kart and changing the chain and all the great jobs.
So where do you see the next step for Max?
Well, Max is still at a very young age, so it's depending on how he treats it, how he enjoys it, and what he wants to do. But once he's done another 2 or 3 years in the Alavine class, they call it, he'll step up to the cadet class, which is a slightly bigger engine, a little bit faster, and then it's from there that he needs to make his mind up which way he wants to go.
What is the progression for young drivers in Spain?
Well, Max is in the lowest class to start with of the age group, so that's an age between 7 and 11. The next one for him would go into what they call the cadet class, which is sort of 10 and a half, 11 up to 13, and then there's a junior class after that, followed by a senior class and so on. And at that point, he can choose to go into single-seaters, and that's really where hopefully a big team might spot him, but obviously there's a long way to go.
So, Formula One day for Max.
The magic question. Every dad would love to see his son do it. I don't know. It's really down to Max. It's still early days yet.
So do you think you could beat him?
Of course I can. He's only a kid.
That sounds like a challenge.
Absolutely.
Shall we?
That's good.
Your dad says that he's better than you at racing, is he?
No, he isn't.
So you think you could beat him?
Yes.
Should we give him a challenge?
Yes.